This To The Top is brought to you by Ben's Paint Supply.
So I have no idea what you're going to say.
Okay, since we're starting with do, let's talk about doing it.
Oh my
You got to
God.
have sex. Okay? You got to have sex in a marriage.
Not just a marriage, a relationship.
A relationship, you're right. And God, look, I'm a man. I'm a damn man. I got testosterone running through my damn body. I'm a beast. I'm a provider. I'm a real man. So when you're a dude, you like to have sex. Hello and welcome to another edition of To The Top. I am your host, Carlos Alberto Navarro, and as always, I am with the executive producer and co-host of To The Top, Mrs. Megan Navarro.
Hello.
It is good to see you. I feel like I see you almost every day.
I know, right? Like every day.
Almost every day, yes. If you heard the intro correct. We're talking relationships, man. Relationships, okay?
The do's, the don'ts.
Yes, and like we said, we are
What
by
did
no
we
means.
say?
What I said was we are not marriage counselors,
No.
nor relationship experts.
No.
We are merely living and growing together as a unified couple of 15 years, right?
We got together in 2004. So you do that
So
math.
yeah, 15. I'm pretty good at
It's
math.
2019.
I'm really good at math. Most of my shorthanded math comes from sports and telling the difference in scores.
Oh,
So,
well.
yeah.
Hey.
So there is benefit in watching a lot of sports.
There you go.
With To The Top, we're always trying to focus on one subject and have fun with it and motivate and uplift and entertain. And when right before the show, way before the show, we always like to talk. All right, what are we going to talk about this week? What are we going to talk about next week? And we thought, well, why not relationships? Because we could talk marriage, and all this applies to a marriage as well. I think there's another level of things once you officially become married. But if you are in a relationship for a very long time, it can feel like a marriage. I am against saying that a long-term relationship is just like a marriage, because it's not. Okay, it's not. You don't have the paperwork. It's like borrowing a car from somebody for a really long time.
If you can easily get out without it being like a huge deal.
Yes.
I mean, emotionally it's going to be something, but a divorce and breaking up, totally different.
Totally
It's
different.
a lot easier to break up. Than
100.
to get a divorce.
If you got kids with somebody, okay, and you live with them, okay, now
Yeah.
we're talking. It's more combined, but relationships in general, people struggle with them.
a lot of people struggle.
Struggle with them. And it can dictate your life. Whether it's a relationship, a loving relationship.
But that's what we're talking about today, right?
Yeah. We're not just going to talk about any type of friendship relationship. No, this is primarily if you're a couple, if you're married.
You're doing it.
You're doing it and doing it and doing it well. Doing it and doing it. Yeah. Because, we've been together 15 years. We don't have it all figured out. We've had ups. We've had downs. But I love this woman with all my heart.
I love you too, kid.
Do you?
I do.
Are you sure?
So much. Hold my hand.
Would you like to make love tonight?
No.
We were talking about that before the show.
I want to go to bed early.
We can make love and then go to bed.
We have a kid. She
so-
can't go to bed at 7 o'clock.
She's not going to know about it.
She'll hear.
Oh, that's true. We're going to do do's and don'ts. And let's just kick it right off, okay?
Okay.
Do's.
Okay. Okay.
You have something you want to kick it off?
No. I just want to preface this by saying we came up with this topic, but we did not talk about any of our do's and don'ts. And I honestly haven't come up with, I have a few in my head, but I don't have a running list.
Neither
so this
do
is
I.
going to be off the cuff.
Well,
a little bit.
Yeah, because a relationship can be off the cuff.
True.
Since we're
So I have no idea what you're going to say.
Okay, since we're starting with do, let's talk about doing it.
Oh my
You got to
God.
have sex. Okay? You got to have sex in a marriage. And especially for husbands out there. Look,
not just a marriage, a relationship.
A relationship, you're right. And God, look, I'm a man. I'm a damn man. I got testosterone running through my damn body. I'm a beast. I'm a provider. I'm a real man. So when you're a dude, you like to have sex. And I think a lot of relationships fail when somebody cuts off the sex. Plain and simple.
Sure.
And in our relationship, we have a really great sex life. I think you're super hot. I think when we do have sex, it is fire. That's not to say that we have sex every day, all the time. Could I do it? Yeah, I think I could. I'm thinking about it like every single day.
I don't think you want that often.
I don't know. I'm not the type. This is what I say. I'm about quality, not quantity. Quality, not quantity. What does that mean?
Well, I'll throw the don't in there then. Though.
Okay.
Sure, do have sex. Don't just be like, baby, let's have sex, and then just expect for it to happen. Like, sometimes it may happen like that, but don't expect it to just happen like that every time just because you say you're ready to have sex. Like, that doesn't mean anything.
And that's something a lot of guys can't understand, because a guy, a light gust and we'll be like, oh, we're standing at attention, right? And especially if you're really attracted to your partner, you can have sex way more than I think women. I'm not saying all women. I'm not saying there are definitely women that have a huge, crazy sex drive, but I think more women have to be fully connected.
Or romanced a little bit. Yeah. Like it, not every single time does it have to be this like huge gesture to get into the mood for it. But my God, like nothing turns me off more than if just like a random time of the day, you're like, I want to have sex. And then you get irritated because I'm just not in the mood to, and you haven't even tried to do anything else other than saying, I want to have sex.
You're right.
That's so annoying.
It is annoying, and that is something I had to learn.
Yeah.
And not get mad about and not get upset.
And
did I?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of guys don't understand, or they think, well, if I can have sex, well, why don't you want to have sex? Mm-hmm. Women are different creatures, man. You guys are just different. Okay, you're pretty. Mm-hmm. You got longer eyelashes. You got boobs. You got vaginas.
Oh my God.
Very different than guys. And what I have found, and once again, we're speaking on our relationship. Our sex life has actually gotten better, I would say, as we have gone on.
I'm just trying to get comfortable.
I see that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It wasn't.
But we were together. You got with me when I was 18, so that's a lot of learning and growing.
It is. And what I realized, because women are so much more in touch with their emotions and their surroundings and just mentally, you guys are just way more connected to than most guys. Is for you, I found, okay, if the house is a mess, if our room is a mess, mm-hmm. if the kitchen's a mess, like you are somebody who likes to have things
in order
for you to fully enjoy
something else, yeah.
Especially sex. And so once I found that out, I started cleaning the house like a bitch. I'm like, you need this clean? You need this clean? You need this clean? No, but in all reality, it was, instead of just thinking, okay, let's just have sex and then putting no effort into it, it was, I think that's what helped you, is to see, oh, well, here's some effort in this area.
Right.
And on top of that, not just leaning over and start trying to hunch, which I can do if you ever still want me to.
You still do in the middle of the night, almost every single night.
I'm a huncher. I'm a huncher. But, you suggest a massage, or you put on some music, or you set the scene. Women set the tone, are all senses. So sex is very important in a relationship, and it's different for everybody. But I think once you understand your partner, as to their likes and dislikes, you're going to get more sex. You're going to get better sex. And overall, you're going to be happier, because a lot of guys, man, I'm not a cheater. Never been a cheater. But a lot of guys cheat because of sex. And I would say a lot of women, I'm not going to just put it on all guys, because they're not happy with their sex life. And they'll say, well, I don't get enough sex, so I'm going to go cheat. And obviously that will destroy a relationship. So a do is Do it. Have sex.
A don't is don't just expect it.
Yes,
anytime.
That's good. I think that's kicking off well. Why don't you start off with the do?
Okay. Do leave little love notes here and there. It doesn't have to be every day, but when I wake up and I see a note from you, just by the coffee maker or by wherever, it brings a smile to my face and it automatically puts me in like this extra good mood, or it'll brighten my mood if I'm not necessarily like, do little acts of kindness for the other person.
That is a great do for sure. I think a lot of people will do these acts of kindness, like you say, for people at work. And they'll do it for people if they're in school. They'll do it for people at school. They'll do it for strangers to hold the door open. And then you get home, you're like, can we just let's just go on with our normal life. It is a relationship is a constant focus and a constant, not job, because that kind of insinuates like
effort.
An effort. Yeah, I think effort is the best way of saying it. And I leave early in the morning, Monsters in the Morning. I hope you listen to them every single day, 6 to 11 a.m. on iHeartRadio, Real Radio 104.1.
Oh, my God.
But I leave really early in the morning. And Megan does wake up early in the morning, too. But, a connection, not only do we're talking relationships, but I leave a note for my daughter, and then I'll leave a separate note at times. And I don't do it every single day. Because then your own self, you kind of get used to it. Like, okay, another one, and you're not even trying to.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good connection, and I know at least you and a lot of women, they love that you're thinking of them. Mm-hmm. That
I don't need a gift.
Yeah. It's not about a gift. If you can give a little gift here and there, sure, but. Not everybody's got the funds to do that. But a note, fellas. I'm telling you. So easy. And it goes such a long way. You don't have to write a whole novel. It's not, at times I write a lot. At other times it's just, hey, I'm thinking of you. I love you. I want you to have a good day. It's amazing how that sets the tone for your partner.
And especially if, like, say I've had, like, not the best day the day before. Right. When I wake up that next day and you kind of not rephrase. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Set the tone.
Well, you kind of say like, I know yesterday wasn't the best day, but today's going to be a new day. You're going to get through this. I'm here for you. Whatever it may be that you're going through. Yeah. When you see that and you're like, oh yeah, I got through yesterday. Today's a new day. And you help me realize we're in this together, essentially.
And that's what a relationship is. You're a duo, and if you're looking at it independently, I mean, if you're both so independent, then why the hell are you in a relationship?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, especially if you've been in a relationship much older, they're so much more independent, and
it is difficult maybe as you get older. But I think you could also look at it when you get older. You realize that when you are in a relationship, you need to really depend on each other. Because I think a lot of relationships, here's a don't in my eyes, okay?
Yeah, give me a don't.
A don't create concrete days to be away from your partner, okay? Whether that's a guy's night, or whether I gotta go every Tuesday and I gotta go shoot basketball away from you. Like, this is me speaking. If you're, not to say you shouldn't go play golf with friends, not to say you shouldn't have that time, but I think when you put it in every single week or every single month and you have to get away, I don't know if that's necessarily good.
Well, I think it's about the intention. Like, say you're on like a recreational like basketball league or whatever, where you have every week you go, but then you didn't join that league to like have your guy time.
Right.
You joined it because you love basketball and you want exercise or whatever. So I think it's the intention behind it, whether you're going into it to get away from my wife and have that guy time, or you're doing it to just, because you enjoy that activity. I think it's the mentality behind it.
Sure. And I think it's perfectly fine to have times when you can connect with guys, but a lot of those times, they're single guys. And they got way more time than you do.
Or guys that cheat on their wives. Or guys that aren't necessarily the greatest dads.
And they talk shit about their wives. And that was...
And same thing goes with women. Like,
yes.
if you go and have a...
Say don't. This is a don't.
Oh, this is a don't. What? But it goes with your guy.
A double don't.
Don't talk shit about your partner when you're out with the other guys or girls. Like, don't do that. It's just such not a good thing. I mean, if you have a fight and you're just talking to one girlfriend, you're just trying to like talk it out, I guess that's fine. But like, if you're just one of those people that sit there
my wife's
and
a
like
bitch
about things.
My husband's an idiot. Like, words are powerful, man.
Yeah.
They're real powerful. I agree. I don't talk, like, it's not like I got a bunch of shit to talk about, but I've seen it where a group of guys and the guy will just go in on his wife, my wife doesn't like to have sex, or blah, blah, blah. And I'm just listening going like, God, man, imagine if they heard you saying this. If you have a really close friend and you need to talk about your marriage.
Yeah, that's different.
That's different. That is different. And even then, you should protect your marriage, and you shouldn't be saying things that should be kept in the bedroom or that's extremely personal.
Or just saying something just because you're pissed at them. Like, if you're really trying to work through a situation and you're not even necessarily married, just in a relationship, I think sometimes you need that other person to listen to. But again, I think it's the intention behind it. Are you just talking about them just a bitch about them because you're annoyed by them and you're truly not that happy? Or are you talking because you really need
some
help
advice
getting through? Exactly.
Yeah. And
so the don't is just a bitch to bitch
right,
about them.
Right. Of course, at times you're going to talk to another friend who's married and say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with this, or in a long-term relationship. But it shouldn't be a bitch session, like you're saying, because that even just what a real relationship is that intimacy. And it's not just sexual intimacy. It's those moments that you share that you don't share with anybody else. That's why I don't think reality shows work with couples. I don't think they do, because your intimate moments, your secrets, that is this bond. Megan and I talk about things that we don't talk about with anybody else. And some shit that people would hear about us and be like, you guys are horrible people. Not all, but I feel like that is what a real relationship is that you and I have this bond. Like, we're going, life is not a battle, it's a journey. Mm-hmm. And we're going at this journey together, mm-hmm. and you and I share these secrets and this stuff about us that helps us move forward in life. And if you start blabbing all those things to everybody else, then what is your relationship about?
Yeah. What makes yours special?
What makes yours special? And like I said, I'll bring that reality show up. Think about a reality show with two people, just a couple thing, that it worked, that they were married. It doesn't. I mean, you could start from Nick Lachey and Jessica Simpson to Hulk and his family to down the Carmen, Electra and Dave Navarro. Everybody thought that was going to work forever.
So sad. Those relationships.
All those relationships. I mean,
I loved them all. I watched all of them.
The Bachelor. I mean, all these different shows.
Oh, Lord.
So I think keep the intimate moments and shit talking to your relationship. And
into a minimum.
Into
the shit talking.
The shit
Keep
talking.
It to a minimum.
Yes. Okay. You got another one?
I would say don't be too obsessed with your phone.
Ooh.
And this is one that we constantly struggle with.
Both of us. Me.
Let's
look.
Give
get off my back. Okay. I take back everything I said. Screw you.
But I think this is probably a huge problem. You go into a restaurant and you look around and you see it, like a couple will be sitting there, both of them looking down at their phone.
Yeah.
And it's just insane. And I'm not even talking about just at restaurants. At the house, it can happen a lot too. When you're trying to have a talk with one another about something, or you're just trying to talk about your day and one of them's looking down at your phone. You're like, hello, right here. Let's us connect. Get off your phone for a little bit.
And I'm guilty of that. I'm not guilty of it. Look, our jobs and our passions are connected to our phone, unfortunately. A lot of times, I have an addictive nature to begin with. The phone is built for you to stay on it, literally, scientifically. It's built for you to want to stay on it. That's why I think the biggest addiction in the world is your phone. Most people can't do anything without it. It has to be a conscious thought. It has to be, for me, put it in a different room.
Or if you're like, you don't get pissed at me anymore when I'm like, put your phone down.
No, because I need that check.
You need that check. So it needs to be something that is, do have that conversation with your partner and be like, hey, let's check each other. When one of us is getting on the phone for too long, or you just, because sometimes we'll be having a conversation and you won't even realize that you've then picked up the phone and started freaking scrolling.
And that's how you know it's a habit.
And it's I'm like, what are you doing? Put the phone down.
Yeah, and it is. It's. I think it's something that probably affects a lot of relationships, and they may not even realize it.
Yeah.
So
or they don't have the conversation about it. So I think you do need to have a conversation with your partner about like making sure that when you're talking to one another or you're doing things together, that it doesn't revolve around the phone.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I
know.
You.
Yeah, I know.
You got another one up your sleeve there? Because let me see.
Go.
Some don'ts, okay? Don't, I know that this is a classic one.
Okay.
But don't go to bed angry.
Oh, yeah. We
never do that.
Never.
We never ever do that. When I hear stories of people leaving and not coming back for the night, or sleeping in a separate room, or just going to bed angry and not discuss, I think that is literally one of the things that can rip apart your relationship. Because when you when you go to bed with that anger or that inconclusiveness or outright misunderstanding at times, that can really cook and boil. And when you wake up, then what happens? A lot of times, if you're older, you got a job, you got kids, you wake up and you're back in the mix of life, right? So either one person goes to work and they're at work all day and going, oh, what if
thinking about it,
or in Megan's case, she works out of home, so she's taking care of our daughter, and she's shooting videos.
Ready to burn your clothes.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. Unresolved issues with the human mind will fester into an inferno.
And I think that a lot of times you can say, well, if you sleep on it, then it's not as bad the next day, but I don't know. For us, I've just never been comfortable going to bed mad. God forbid.
And we've had some outright, I mean, this is way earlier when we drank a lot more. and I mean, outright, I'm looking at her going, we need to go to bed.
Yeah.
We need to go to fucking bed. Yeah. And it's, I mean, we were much younger.
Like 10 plus years ago.
Yeah. If it ever got, like, we're at the point now where if we get into a fight and we're not perfect, we definitely will have moments where we're just like, I need an
argument.
But in a marriage, you got to look at somebody and be like, are you willing to get divorced about this? No? Then let's get over this shit.
Yeah, let's figure this out.
Okay? The five rule. If you mad about this, give me 5 minutes. You still mad about this?
Ooh, I thought of a good don't, but go ahead.
So don't go to bed angry, and it doesn't mean everything has to be resolved. No. Many times we've looked at each other and said, look, I disagree. We got to disagree. I love you. We will talk about this more tomorrow. But
you might not go to bed the absolute happiest you've ever been.
I'm perfect. That's not realistic. But what is realistic is to get to a point of resolution, at least, where you understand where you're at, and we're going to talk about this more tomorrow.
Yeah. But
and
if
I think that's actually really...
I need to sleep in a separate room and I can't be anywhere near you, I think that's when you know that if you have those feelings, you got to get to a little bit better of a resolution before you go to bed.
Yeah, getting to a resolution where you both understand. It doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. There are times when we've gotten to a point where we're like, wow, it's perfect. You have sex, you make up sex, and you're okay. And then there are other times when it's like, look, I love you. I got to think about this. And sleeping on it does a great job then. Then when you've come to a resolution, you get some sleep. Because, fighting at late at night, when you got to work, you got to go to school, it's never fun. In the back of your mind, you're going, oh, my God, I just want to go to sleep.
I know, but we're saying this all, I think so many. Now, this doesn't happen with us because, A, you don't drink, and B, I don't drink that much. But I think a lot of the fights, especially at night, happen because of alcohol. Yeah, because you're fighting and you're drunk.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to fix that.
Well, make it a rule. If you're in a relationship, do this. Here's a do.
Okay.
And you're drunk and you're both drunk, man, unless you're perfect human beings who are the happiest drunks in the world, I've found that's when the worst fights happen. If you look at the studies and the research.
That's when someone brings up something that they're annoyed with or whatever. And then that's the worst time to hash it out.
Yeah. I mean, most conflicts, most murders, most outright domestic experiences, domestic abuse, alcohol is involved. It is. Just look at, I was listening to Jordan Peterson the other day. It is insane. Watch Cops. Okay? Look at Cops. You go to any one of those cities, you got drinking a beer, because what happens when you're drunk is everything is more, exasperated. So what are
you supposed to do? Not supposed to drink with your partner?
No. Have drinks, but go, if you start getting into it, be like, look, we both have had drinks.
Yeah, we're not talking about this right now.
One of y'all have to be the adult.
Yeah.
One of y'all, a lot of times for you, it was you being the adult.
Yeah.
And, and then sometimes it was me when I didn't have as much drinking as you that we had to be like, look.
But I'm not a fighty drunk.
I don't even, no, you're not. No, I mean, when we were younger, remember, 19, and I was in my early 20s, so.
I didn't drink when I was 19.
Of course, never. But don't discuss gigantic life issues when you're drunk. Because
for sure.
What you do have is the most inside information of somebody, whether to hurt them or help them. And a lot of times in a fight, you're going for that.
Yeah, your delivery is not going to be as good as it could be.
Yeah.
I have a don't.
Okay, what's a don't?
Don't throw threats out there. Oh, I feel like it happens so much, whether if you're just in a relationship. This is my house. If you do this one more time, you're out of here.
Ultimatums. Threats, ultimatums. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like threatening to leave them. Like, if this happens one more time, I'm leaving you. Or you're going to be kicked out of here or whatever. Like, threats all around the board, I don't think are ever good.
I agree. Whether you're in a relationship where you make the money to support the relationship, or one person takes care of the family, or one person takes care of the house, threats don't ever work well. You think about your own boss or your teacher when they would threaten you. It almost like you put up even more of a. If
you do this again, I'm not having sex with you.
Yeah, I mean the whole sex threat thing. That's never good. That's never good. I mean, and it's mostly women because guys don't hold the key to that. When you're threatening to keep something from somebody, and it's not like you've never said that before, like, oh, we won't have sex. And I told her, I was like, don't do that. This is not a negotiation.
That was a long time ago.
A lot of this stuff is a long time ago. But I told her, I was like, that makes me feel like shit. That makes me feel like, oh, you're doing this grand favor to have sex with me, and you haven't done that in forever, but do communicate on that level. Yeah. When you see something that hurts you in a relationship that bothers you, don't keep it inside. Tell them. Say, hey, that makes me, and tell them how you feel.
But don't use it as a threat.
Right. Don't use threats on it. Okay. That's a good one. That's good. You're doing well. You're doing well.
Thank you. You think I'd been in a successful relationship?
Right. Okay. Let's see here. What's another good one? What's another don't? Here's a big don't. Don't keep score. Okay, what does that mean? Women are much better at keeping score than guys because y'all remember everything. Damn thing. Where guys, we will mostly just like forget about it. I wonder if in gay relationships, if there is a more feminine kind of person in the relationship that is able to remember that more. I would assume so.
Yeah.
But thinking of my gay brothers and sisters out there. But women, you can't bring up shit that happened 6 months ago.
But you can sometimes.
Well, I mean, with very good reason.
Yeah.
But it can't be an everyday thing. Like, like last 6 times you took me to the movies, or last 6 times you didn't clean up your clothes, or it's like you're starting to sound like my mom. And a lot of times, a relationship, a wife does become a mom, and that's about as the unsexiest thing on both ends that can happen. And you don't want to keep score. You want to keep it to that moment. If it's a continuing habit, then you got to have a real conversation and say, hey, this is something you do all the time. It really bothers me. But if it's something that you remember
or
annoys me,
yeah.
But if it's something that you're doing and you haven't talked to them about, but you keep reminding them without a resolution, it just gets annoying.
Yeah.
What do you feel about keeping score?
Well, I keep score in my head of how many times I ask you to pick up your clothes off your side of your bed.
Oh, off the side of my bed. Yeah. I was about to say, I do a good job in the morning. I used to be way worse at it. I used to just leave my clothes wherever.
And she'll pick it up.
And she'll pick it up. Yeah. And I'm a pretty clean husband.
Yeah.
Come on now.
You're all right.
Come on now. Yeah, I do.
I would say that you're probably better than a lot. But
yeah.
I think there's probably a lot of guys that are a little bit better than you.
Maybe, but it was more so. It wasn't like I even got to this point. Was always there. I was worse than I was, but I got to thinking about it more. I'm like, I don't want her to be like thinking of me like a mom. Like nobody wants their wife, and I think a lot of wives act like their moms. I don't want that. I want you to look at me and be no, he takes care of his stuff. He has a high standard. And that's really what it breaks down to. What is your standard of how you treat your home and yourself? And so, if they're constantly telling you, they don't want to also be nagging at you either.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, don't nag, because that doesn't really do anything, and that starts becoming that like mom thing. Or it doesn't have to be the woman that nags. The guy could nag too, but I don't know, probably it's a lot more women that nag. But you can't nag, but you also can't let it happen over and over again to where it like starts to drive you insane. Like you have to have an adult conversation about it.
And that's a big do. And the do is communicate. Communicate. Talk about it. And I know a lot of guys, they don't want to talk about anything but sports, maybe what's going on with their buddy, real shorthand stuff. And not every guy, but a lot of guys, our best features is not communication. I happen to do it for a living.
A lot of women don't communicate well either.
A lot of women, you're right.
Yeah.
They don't communicate well. But the more you communicate, the less misunderstandings you're going to have. Because a great thing that we just heard from Brene Brown is the story that I tell myself.
Yeah.
And I think that was really, really good. What she basically says, we have a story that we tell ourselves. And usually in a relationship, the story that we'll tell ourselves is much worse
what's actually happening.
Exactly. What if I'm looking at my wife and she seems a little upset, and then I think, okay, what did I do? Okay, I guess she's mad at me because I didn't text her earlier today. And you know what though? I don't need to text her. Why do I have to text her? Or,
And you create this whole story. The whole time I'm just upset because I shouldn't have eaten those bag of chips.
Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect example. So when you would communicate and say, hey, babe, are you okay? Everything okay? And instead of going like, why are you always mad all the time?
Yeah. Oh.
What I'm saying? Like, then she is able to go, yeah, I'm kind of down on myself right now because I shouldn't have eaten that. And then you're like, hey, honey, you're beautiful. If you want to eat a bag of chips, you've been working out, you've been doing good. Don't get upset. And then that's when you, oh yeah, get down. I was gonna say bump and grind, but I can't talk R. Kelly anymore.
Oh God, no.
Damn, I can't sing bump and grind anymore.
Oh,
damn.
Don't do it. I think communication is the biggest
overarching theme here.
For sure. And if you're not good at communicating, work on it. Look up things of how to be a better communicator. Is that a word?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's tons of books about it.
And YouTube videos.
And
workshops.
Something that will only benefit you in all facets of your life.
No doubt about it. Communication is the biggest do for a successful relationship.
It'll take your relationship to the top.
And I think that is a perfect place to leave you with. We're gonna bring this back up. I think this is a really good topic, and I hope it really stuck with you. And if you know any do's and don'ts in a relationship, why don't you leave it right down below on the comment section.
Let us know your biggest do and don't of a relationship.
Yes, please do. And whether you're listening to us on iHeartRadio or on iTunes or on Spotify, or if you're watching on YouTube, do us a favor, subscribe right now. Just stick it right there. And this is the kind of stuff that we're going to be talking about and a whole lot more. We're just getting started on this amazing to the top ride. The connection that we've already made with people watching and listening is been just so appreciated and loved. and we got so much more to go.
Yeah, we're really, really appreciative of all of the amazing support we have from you guys. So
thank you.
Really great.
Thank you. And like I said, I hope one of those do's and don'ts connected with you. We're going to go make love right now.
Oh, my God.
And then communicate afterwards, and then we won't get angry, and then we'll go to sleep happy, and then we'll wake up, and I'll pick up my clothes.
And you'll leave me a love note.
And I'll leave you a love note, and we're going to do all our do's and don'ts. But I hope that all of you have a wonderful day. And I do know one thing. Today will be a great day. To the top.
Never stop. Bye.
Ben's Paint Supply, one of the main sponsors of To the Top. I can't thank you enough for supporting To the Top. And how do you want to support us? Go to Ben's Paint Supply. They can get you any type of paint that you need, whether it's for your home, whether it's for your auto, or whether it's for your boat, and especially for your cars. I mean, that's a really tough thing to find, is people that will take time and get the perfect paint color for your sweet ride. And Ben's Paint Supply has been around for a very long time, providing quality service to all of Florida with 11 locations. It's Ben's Paint Supply. Stop on in today or check out their website at benspaintsupply.com. And when you go, make sure you say, hey, I saw you on To the Top.